Hey, what's going on, guys? Hex Competitive back again to the brand new video. And today's video is on Rent a Girlfriend, a series that I actually am getting more from than what I expected. Like truly. And as you probably saw either in the thumbnail or whatever the title may be for the video, I'm not really sure yet. This romance series for 2020 has actually taken kind of a dark turn. And what I'm saying, and whenever I say that, I'm referring to the mommy scene or Mamie scene. I'm not really sure exactly how you pronounce it. Mommy is a weird pronunciation for a character that's in college, but but no, in all seriousness, looking at this scene where everyone's at dinner or whatever that is, the pub, and they invite, of course, Kazuya and Misuharu comes in with him. It really showed you that Mommy isn't just a character that had this like demented look. She really is kind of, well, to put it nicely, a horrible person. The way she tried to manipulate that room and have, she knew Mizuharu was an X factor, and she knew that Mizuharu was probably someone that no one knew in the room. Obviously, they just brought him in, and the way they announced him and how no one's talked about it, there's no way she could have known this was unexpected. So what she actually tried to do was manipulate the room and say things that put Kazuya in a very, precarious situation to where he couldn't necessarily speak up because she knows his emotions. She knows his behavior. She just wasn't for a month, and she probably talked to him for a few weeks too, most likely if she, dated him for a month. And so she knows him. She knows a little bit about him. She knows what makes him tick. And she does seem to be a person she's a study of, reaction. She looks the way, the way you react at something, and then she goes with it, and then she will manipulate it. And we see that to Misuharu actually stepped up, and it seems as if Mommy actually did have that plan, despite her having some kind of gasp. I can't believe she's coming at me like this. It seems as if this was a plan, but it wasn't necessarily something that was thought to happen. First, let's put Kazuya down. Let's air out his dirty laundry in the room. Misuharu, she's not going to like that. She's like, whoa, what? He really is like that? Obviously, she knew she just started talking to him because, well, no one's known about her. So she did that intentionally because she knew that Kazuya wouldn't stick up for himself. Now, whenever Mizuharu actually stuck up for him, that seems to be something that was in the back of her mind, but not necessarily thoroughly planned for. But as soon as it did happen, you see that she quickly, and she's very witty when she did this, she said, hey, stick up for me. Hey, say something, get involved in this. Once again, she knew he would not have the cojones to do such a thing. So even if she was going to, have Mizuharu stand up to her, she already had so many layers to this. It seemed like she had 2 to 3. She knew how she's going to manipulate the situation from the get-go. And really, it shows her what kind of person she is. Even at the end, it's a little bit of jealousy, and I think it's a little bit of possessiveness. It was someone that she probably had some kind of interest in, not a lot. And then she's like, it's time to drop this guy. But then all of a sudden she sees, hey, this guy is doing arguably better than me with this new girl, looks, pretty personality, potentially. I'm going to get back what's rightfully mine and show that I'm the best. And that's just kind of human nature at times. If you have someone you care for, sometimes feelings are reignited once you see that they're gone in a physical sense, not around you, but like you see them with someone else. And I mean, that's human nature in a way, but how you act in those moments defines who you kind of are morally. But moving on to other things, because actually, before we do move on, I will say this: what do you guys leave down in the comments below? What do you guys actually believe is going to happen from this situation? They're supposed to go back to her house, yada yada. We see the move she's making. What's next? Where do you think they go from here? We saw some of the preview for the next episode, and the narration made things interesting. It made it seem like Mizuharu was calling out Mommy for her behavior and saying, hey, what are you doing? Quit playing with him. Quit toying with him. And I think that's pretty interesting. And it looks as if there's even a kissing scene. And that's something to me immediately that just makes me wonder, how garbage of a person is she probably, Mommy? Because it's not looking good for her character. But the OP. I really love this OP for a romance series, and a romance series specifically. And the reason I'm saying that is because all the romantic undertones and cues and the visuals easily were able to message these things. It really went together well. I mean, the song, visuals, the gestures they had some of the characters doing, the way they had the characters looking in certain directions. Sure, of course, it is really good for this series. And I think it's really good for just a romantic genre for anime in general. I like the messaging there. It's easy to follow. And you get the point. But whenever you are dealing with a rom-com in a romance series, unless it's like a Snafu or Bunny Girl, it's pretty, straightforward. And I think that's what you need to make sure you do, even with the opening and ending. Don't make it too crazy. Don't make the opening so crazy that it outdoes the anime in a sense, if you understand what I'm saying. But looking at other things we actually have, which I would like to discuss, I would really like to discuss about how the show's comedy has done such a great job. And yeah, I couldn't split it out there. I was like, I was like, come on now, spit out the word. My mouth's so dry. No, but in all seriousness, looking at the comedy in this episode, though, guys, I thought it was really cool because we have the scene to where his two friends see that he has a girlfriend, and they're straight up like, hey, he's an idiot. Please don't make him join your cult, because they just think something has to be in the water, because this just isn't normal. And I love that, because even though it's funny, it does kind of make you think back to the whole grandmother scene. The grandmother scene where she's just breaking it down, how, hey, you have been religious, man. I acknowledge that. I acknowledge that, Kazuya. I get it. I know that. And she probably left you because of the type of person you are. You're not necessarily the most attractive person for a female personality. You're very kiddish. You're someone who's very timid. You don't really show any kind of dominance in the sense of like, I am independent. You seem very independent, even though you're living alone dependently. And she just kind of breaks that down for him and says, I get that, but she still does say I love you for who you are, basically, even if it's indirect. And I really like that scene because they did have Misuharus stand in on that. And typically, sometimes we don't get those scenes, and sometimes we do. I'm glad this show went the route of give me that scene. So now we know that character knows something that the other character doesn't. She knows what that moment was. And, well, Kazuya doesn't know she was listening into that whole entire moment. And that's something that's really cool. I really like that scene. And it's something that's going to carry weight, I think, for the characters. It's something that obviously has connected Mizuharu to Kazuya even more so than he was before. Clearly, it has to, because she was so against doing this any longer, and she decided to go with it because she heard that moment, because she does care for that person, because she knows that he is a genuine person. Maybe it's not even as much as she cares, but she knows he's a good person, so she cares about the personality, not necessarily the person underneath that personality. So, you know what I mean? They haven't had enough time to really, I think, cement that relationship. I think they have curiosity, at least from the Mizuharu kind of standpoint, unlike the whole standpoint from, well, let's look at Kazuya. I don't think Kazuya is necessarily a character that loves Mizuharu. I mean, clearly he doesn't love her. I mean, look how easily he's about to drop her off. So here's the thing, though. You can't blame Mizuharu for what she's doing, because she respects Kazuya. She may not like Kazuya per se. They don't typically get along per se, but there is a fondness of some sort. There's a respect there, because she has heard who he genuinely is, which most people aren't like him. And whenever you look at the Kazuya kind of standpoint, he kind of fricked up. At the end of the day, Mizuharu stood up for him, and she had no business standing up for him. She had no business going to that meeting. Kazuya has caused all of this. He's caused not telling his grandma. He's caused not turning his friends down whenever the date was supposed to be up, and their kind of guidelines they had set for themselves were they were met for the week, that Wednesday, visiting his grandmother. And then he kept pushing, and then he got himself in that situation. Then he didn't stick up for the girl that's been there for him, going to visiting his grandma, acting as if she is his girlfriend. And then on top of that, she is someone that is sticking up for him when she has no right to, on an extended date that she did not even ask for, or accept, technically. But other than that, she accepted it with the kindness of her heart, not necessarily for anything else. She may be a sundry-ass girl, but she's clearly showing good qualities as a person. Now, looking at some other things that actually did make me laugh, I did love the whole him faking the delivery at Misuharu's door after she did turn him down multiple times. That shit was funny. That was some funny stuff. I actually really thoroughly enjoyed that. The show's comedy is subjective, but it's been pretty good for this show so far. So I'm really happy to see that. It's made me laugh. Harder than the other shows this season have. Maybe besides Fire Force. Fire Force does make me giggle, but other than that, I think that's pretty much it for today's episode. They went to the same school, coincidentally. Of course, we found out at the beginning. They even live right next door to one another. It's funny. This is a good rom-com so far. I like where it's going. I've heard some things about... They say it falls off in the manga. But hey, nonetheless, it did get serialized for an anime recently. So, I mean, it got published for an anime. So, I mean, there has to be something there. There has to be some kind of fan base there. There has to be something that's keeping the story going and allowing people to like it in order for it to get this far. So, nonetheless, I'm going to keep watching to find that out. So, as always, guys, you guys have been hacks. Be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, X25. See you guys next time. Peace. Thanks for watching, guys.